Okay, we are live. Welcome to the PT Graduate, and my guest today, Emma Goldstraw. Thanks so much for to coming on and giving me a bit of your time today, Emma. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
Cool. So you're now based in Tauranga, sunny Tauranga, and
Yep.
you were Auckland before that.
Yeah. So moved in June last year. So been
Cool.
here almost
Cool.
a year now.
And talk to me before that. So how long had you been in Auckland doing what you're doing?
Since 2015, 16.
Ah, right. Yeah. Cool.
I was at that same studio in the city, Imagine Fitness, for that whole
Imagine,
time.
yes, with James. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what got you into the industry? What was your pathway in? And give us the background.
Okay. So for me, I just had a big change of lifestyle myself. I started attending a boot camp and just taking a bit more interest in my own fitness, I guess, at the time, and got a bit obsessed. And one thing led to another. And I decided to, on a whim, really, just to study the PT course at AUT in Auckland.
Yep.
And it kind of spiraled from there very happily.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So what had you been doing prior? What was your previous career? Because there's a number of us who changed careers and got into this industry, aren't there?
So mine was completely the opposite, completely unhealthy, lots of food, lots of booze, lots of late nights, lots of crazy people. I was managing bars and restaurants for, say, 15 years or so.
Right,
so that's
right.
quite a different beast.
Yeah. And I guess so, that just being in that environment, I imagine would have taken its toll on your health, even from just the hours you work point of view.
Yeah, just take away all like the food and the drink and stuff like that, but just the hours you work, because you can sometimes finish at ridiculous times in the morning, and then you don't relax until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you sleep all day, and so you just get totally out of sync with your sleep. So you're always not feeling optimal anyway.
Sure. Yeah. And so had you obviously you'd started taking care of yourself, and was that as a result of getting to that point where you thought, oh, this isn't working for me from a health point of view?
Yeah, I think it was just not feeling that happy, having a few depression bouts, and just kind of wanting to change. And then I also cut alcohol out completely. And then just having spent 15 years in the industry and being surrounded by drunk people that whole time, not the whole time, but pretty much dealing with people like that, I just kind of had enough of it and wanted to do something a little bit more wholesome and a little bit more healthy for me, with normal hours and weekends off and things like that.
Nice. So is that sort of a creed though that you live by now? Is that you try not to work the weekends, but you fit it all into the working week?
Yeah, I don't work weekends. That was one of
nice.
my things, my ideal week. And so obviously when I started being a PT, the sensible hours and stuff kind of went completely out of whack, because you end up working too much. So I've kind of clawed that back since then. So that was a learning curve.
Nice. Yeah. And it really is a learning curve, isn't it? I imagine there's lots of things that you have kind of picked up along the way through that experience that's really useful for your clients now. You talked about bouts of depression and how you realized, you made the connection with what was going on in your lifestyle. Pretty horrible things at the time, but really valuable lessons, right? In terms of when you're helping your clients.
Yeah, definitely, because people do like it when you speak from experience, or when you kind of meet them where they're at, and which is one of my kind of main things. So when they see that you've kind of struggled and come through things, and you've tried and failed like heaps of things, and you're actually just trying to help them succeed more quickly than say yourself did, then they resonate with that. So everything, all experience is good experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's never failure, right? There's just learning. Yeah, as someone once wisely said. So Total Health, Emma G, Total Health. Tell us a bit more about your brand, and so where that came from, and who you work with.
I started just with the name Emma G Total Health, and I still kind of use them both interchangeably. And then changed to Total Health, and probably on my second kind of logo since I started.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm self-employed, so I just work by myself, but try and link in with allied health professionals to refer people backwards and forwards as required. And I try to stay really connected with people in the industry as well. So you're always learning and kind of having your network as well, because it can be a bit lonely when you first start out, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just by myself trying to do this. So yeah, staying connected with other people in the industry has been real key for me.
Yeah, and one of the things that you did, I know you got yourself out of your comfort zone for that, was being the ambassador for the Auckland PT Council, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Nikki, I have Nikki Williams. Thanks for that, because I was trying to be like an assistant ambassador and just kind of help, and she's like, "No,
Yeah,
there's no point doing that." So she kind of forced me and kind of helped. And obviously, Nikki is so experienced that I just
yeah,
learned a lot from her,
yeah.
and helped with my development of like public speaking and being a bit
Mm.
more, well, being a lot more confident around
Yeah,
my peers.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, yeah, really valuable experience.
Absolutely, and it helps raise your profile as well. So it's not about connection, or not just about connection, is it? It's people going, "Oh, who's Emma? Or what does she do?" And so, people may see things that you do and be able to come pick your brains or make connections, like you talked about. When you're collaborating with some of the people that you're doing. So yeah, it's always worth putting your hand up, even if it gets you outside your comfort zone for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I did that for
Mm.
probably 4 years, I think, 3.5,
Oh,
four
is that
years.
right?
That led to a heap of opportunities with
Yeah,
Exercise New Zealand, and a chance to do some videos, and
yes,
yeah, just meet people and go to different venues. And people still contact me now about questions, and I can just refer people to the right places. So yeah, no, it was definitely a very
awesome.
valuable experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I stumbled across those videos when I was doing a little bit of homework on you, and I thought, "Oh, that's right, I remember." And then it said, there's episode 1 and episode 2, and there was a series, right?
Yeah, I think I was in one of them. I think there may have been a couple of different
Ah,
people
yeah,
video filmed or made
yeah.
videos with. Yeah, I
Okay.
think Nikki Williams put me up for that one as well. So thanks, Nikki.
She's good at sort of giving a gentle nudge in the right direction, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
She's a star. So in terms of total health and client, what's the sort of I know you've done some education around providing programs for the older generation, haven't you? And I noticed there's something about Parkinson's as well. Can you fill me in?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a moving kind of
Hmm.
thing as businesses, I guess.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed working with seniors in Auckland. Though I'm going to kind of find a better word for seniors, because I think that
Okay.
word's a bit,
Yeah.
I haven't quite found it yet. But and I did the Functional Aging Institute's
Right.
aging specialist course. So I've done a few different
Right.
bits and pieces, and a few
Mm.
different Parkinson's courses with
Mm.
PD Warrior and Exercise as Medicine.
Mm.
And when I came to Tauranga, my first client had Parkinson's, and then I met two other people with Parkinson's. Then the book I was reading just randomly had Parkinson's in it, and then there's a podcast. So I was like, oh, hang on. And then I've just, yeah, kind of jumped into that world. And it's there's a lot to learn about the disease or illness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And everyone I've met has just been absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's just really interesting, and it's a really hard thing for people to go through. And
Mm.
everyone just seems, I don't know, it's just been a really lovely experience getting to know people and working out ways to help them through their illness.
Yeah, yeah. So there's enough support out there for if people like you are wanting to help those types of clients. Is there enough support out there that you can get the help you need to do a good job for those people?
So I did a course called PD Warrior, which is a
Yeah.
well-respected course taken by a lot of physios, really.
Ah,
And
okay.
then I've done a lot of a lot of reading, and then that exercises medicine course. There's not
Mm.
like a heap, but
Yeah.
I've just jumped in and just researching as much as I can.
Yeah.
And it's been great. It's been a slow process, but I've just finally got to do a class with Parkinson's New Zealand
Mm.
in Tauranga. So that's massive. And it's
Mm.
also massive for a personal trainer, because normally it's a physiotherapist kind of role.
Yeah.
So I've done a fair bit of networking and showed my value to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's been, yeah, a really
Nice one.
great kind of experience.
Nice one. Nice one. That's impressive. So I guess that will probably lead to more.
Yeah, hopefully. So I do
Yeah.
two Parkinson's specific classes at the moment.
Yeah.
One for Parkinson's New Zealand, and one at the gym where I'm based called Next Step
Yep.
in the city.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, they're both kind of for slightly different demographics. One's more seated, one's for people who are standing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's different exercises and methods in each one.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So obviously that spins your wheels. That's stuff you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, yeah, literally every week I'm just buying a new book on Parkinson's. I
Ah,
think people are becoming a bit obsessed.
you're going to become the guru, right? If you keep that up, we're going to be phoning you up and going, "Hey, what do we do here? We're stuck."
Yeah, well, it's the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world, so
Really?
it's not going away anytime soon. So
Yeah.
yeah, some of it's it's just lots of
Mm,
different layers and very
mm.
interesting, and it's probably something that we're all going to be impacted by in the future through
Ooh.
someone we know or someone we know,
Yeah.
down the chain somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of a side, kind of not a side step, but a side tangent to the
Hmm.
seniors as well. And yeah, I just like working with that age group really.
Mm.
Um, and I don't really think of anyone as seniors now, because you have like 85-year-olds coming to your class and you're like, oh, they're not really a senior. So what is a senior? Everyone's just
Yeah.
trying to age well and
Yeah.
enjoy life and be free of pain, really. So
Sure.
I want to encourage that as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great message. So keeping on that Parkinson theme for a moment, to pick your brains, is is the evidence there clear enough now to say, that there's a certain sort of lifestyle that could take you down that path? I mean, there's been, it's been attributed to sleep, I know, particularly in terms of the good quality sleep, because that deteriorates as we age. Nutritional components as well, or could it be just a cluster of things? Is there more is the evidence there yet, or?
There's no one five things cause Parkinson's.
Yeah, yeah,
There's no list, but there's different areas. So environmental seems to be a big factor. So different agrochemicals that are used, and there's
okay,
certain chemicals that have been
mm,
banned or being petitioned to be banned, and that seems
mm,
to have an effect.
okay,
Um, Something to do with because one of the first symptoms can be a loss of smell.
ah,
So people can have that 10 years before their next symptom.
wow,
So they just smell just slowly goes, and then they haven't really noticed, and then 10 years later they might notice another symptom. So
mm,
they think it could be linked to like the olfactory system.
yep,
And also there's new testing which is looking at gut microbiome as well, and how it could start in the gut.
okay, yeah, yeah,
So, and things like if you've had lots of traumatic brain injury, that can also influence it as well. But
mm,
there's lots of
mm,
research into women and maybe different stages of our hormonal cycles. So it could be
mm,
perimenopause or pregnancy. Is there something that sparks it off there as well?
right, right,
There's just heavy on the research, but no like
yeah,
set reasons as of yet.
okay, okay, interesting. And you talked about microbiome there, and that's something I know that you're interested in terms of sort of, nutritional health and eating well, and disorders and all those sorts of things. Is that something that is as important as the Parkinson's and that older generation to you?
Yeah, I kind of recently kind of reworded what I do really. So
Mm.
I kind of think movement for all,
Hmm.
um, and then your seniors, and then Parkinson's, and then those with a disordered relationship to food. And
Ah, yeah,
so I'm trying to kind of simplify it so I can tell people what I actually do, because
yeah,
sometimes it's a bit confusing to get your message across. So
yeah,
there are 4 things that I enjoy doing. So that's
sure,
the 4 type of clients that I
yeah,
want to work with.
yeah, yeah. Do you get many of those sorts of clients? The disordered eating, is that a common thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think everyone has some. Yeah, most people have some form of disordered eating,
yeah,
and it ranges from just stuffing your face on the weekends or Christmas,
yeah.
to more serious disorders. So yeah, I really
Mm,
do
mm,
like working with those people, because it's something I've had problems with my whole life. So again,
right.
it's good to recognise symptoms and things that are happening with other people, and then try and change their outlook on themselves
Mm.
and on the way they eat.
Mm. Yeah, complex subject again, a bit complex, like Parkinson's as well. They're quite intricate, aren't they? Because there's different things that impact different people in different ways. So there's never one path in. There's always different reasons, different routes as to why people are at where they're at, aren't there? So I guess what's your technique? How do you get to the bottom? How do you find the solutions, or is it about sort of helping people find it for themselves? What's your technique?
There's never one solution. Like, say, let's talk about disordered
Mm-hmm.
eating. it's kind of really looking at a range of different things. Lots of people are stuck in the whole diet culture, and
Yeah.
they just have so much misinformation in their heads that they just can't work it out. So just trying to get people just to, which is something I'm trying to do myself, is to
Yeah.
find a way of eating healthily for life,
Yeah.
which nourishes you, but gives you a chance to eat some of those maybe less nourishing foods that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So but trying to get rid of that concept of dieting and that binge restrict cycle, things like that. But as you know as well, it's got nothing to do really with the body, or it's all just comes from here, right? So you have to find a way into someone's brain and their behaviors and their experiences to kind of unpick that.
Do you find that some clients aren't prepared to hang on long enough for you to get to the point where you found the solution?
Yes, totally. And then some people don't want to go that far. They just want to come to the gym and work out. And so they're probably people that won't stay with me because I'm, there's no point keep doing, your squats or whatever if you're not addressing the binge eating or the illness or whatever it is. So and those people just find someone else to work with, right?
I guess. Yeah.
And that's totally okay.
Yeah. I suppose it's when they're ready to confront it, talk about it, or address it, isn't it? You can't force those issues. It's a matter of meeting them where they're at and just holding their hand until they're ready, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess some people just want to work out without talking about their feelings. So there's other places they can do that. But for me, I think it's really about, for me, just building those personal relationships where people feel safe to give you those little. And I'm not talking about first session we're crying and hugging each other, but slowly over time you're kind of pulling down those barriers, and I feed them some of my things. So you just kind of develop that relationship over time, really, where you trust each other and they know they're in a safe space to kind of discuss and change and work on their things as well.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So what would you put some successes down to? What would you say have worked for you in terms of getting into the industry? Obviously hard work at the beginning. You talked about that balance not being there, but over time you've developed that. What would be some key messages that you could pass on that have worked for you and you think other people might sort of resonate with?
Yeah, I think in the beginning when I started, because I came from a different industry, definitely keeping that job while you set up. Until it got to the point where I was doing everything badly, and then I just jumped ship. But having that safety net financially and a bit of security and structure while you got set up was really, really helpful.
Okay.
And then really just surrounding myself with really good people. James and Caleb were always big help from the gym, and then people like yourself and Nikki and Jin and Dave and JP, Corinne, all those people who you kind of look up to and learn from and have a bit more experience than you, so you can go and have a chat to them, or even a simple message. So connection is probably super important. And I think just you're going to mess up, you're going to do things wrong, your post is going to look rubbish, but just I always remember James, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and James was like, if it's 70% done, it's done. So just get it out there.
Nice.
You might strive for, and you might get to 85, 90% sometimes, but if you're always striving for the 100, you're never actually producing anything. And I think that really resonated for me.
Great advice. James was on the money, and I've heard 70% is the exact number as well. I was listening to a podcast. Actually, I don't know if you've heard it. Ish at Les Mills does a podcast with Sacha Coburn.
Okay, no, I haven't listened to that one.
Yeah, called the Not So Breakfast Show, and they actually talked about that, I think, the second time today, and it's the whole 70% done, right? You're not 100% done. Get it out there, get it out the door. And something that resonated with me, because I was reading about the iPhone 1 back in 2007, and it was how much Steve Jobs was a real perfectionist, and everything had to be amazingly perfect, even the inside of the computer. And that first iPhone had no copy and paste function. So, you had to type everything. So they shipped those iPhones, and, it didn't do everything you'd probably expect it to do, because copy and paste was a thing.
Pretty basic,
Yeah, but it wasn't in that iPhone. So, it's good advice, and I think I've got the same thing as you probably had then. Was, it's got to be right, it's got to be right, it's got to be right, and you spend so much time trying to get it right rather than getting it out the door that you miss
Yeah.
the opportunity sometimes. So, yeah, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah.
What else you got?
What else I got? Yeah, just be willing to, make mistakes. And, if you don't know something, or you've kind of mess up, or just don't give out misinformation, find out for people.
Right.
And just be willing to make mistakes, or, do a crappy podcast with someone, or public speaking gigs. You
Yeah.
have to kind of put yourself out there
Yeah.
and get out of your comfort zone a wee bit,
Yeah.
which is basic kind of
Yeah.
professional development stuff.
And you've done that a few times now. We've already covered a few of the times that you've done that. It gets easier, right? No?
Yeah. So.
You,
I just did I think it's better. I don't know if it's better in person than online. I just did one at the Rotary recently, and it was the first one in person in a room full of people I've done
Brilliant.
for a while, and that
Yeah.
was good because I could move. I don't know. It felt a bit more natural than just being on screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just you just have to keep doing it, right?
You do.
No one cares. No one really minds if you slip up as well. It's just
No.
the pressure you put on
No.
yourself. So.
Everybody's at the beginning, certainly at the beginning, everybody's on your side. You can alienate them, but at least they're all on your side. So if you can keep them on your side, then you'll be okay. Yeah, you're right. And the other thing, when you're talking, when you're presenting, they don't know what you haven't said. So, because I always used to walk away going, oh, I forgot this and I forgot this and I forgot this. They don't know I forgot that. But I always marked myself down like, oh no, that's only a 6 out of 10. So much room for improvement. But that's such good learning, because you kind of go, okay, why did I forget that stuff? Why? What was it that meant? Was it the nerves? Was it preparation? It makes you analyze and it helps you get better. So
Do you still find public speaking nerve-wracking yourself, because you've been doing a fair bit of it as well?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better. I always go back to the first time I was on on a big stage with a big audience, and I hadn't been on there before. And one of the biggest pieces of advice is always go and stand on the stage before you have to, because the it's visceral. The feeling of being up there and having to then deliver, if you haven't felt that before, can be nerve-wracking, and it really was. And it didn't go as well as I wanted it to go. I was really, really disappointed. But also the topic I chose I didn't choose the topic, sorry. The topic I gave was chosen by someone else. And again, you should never let someone else choose your topic. So there were a few things going against me, but I guess it was a massive learning opportunity to come away and go, right, don't do this again, because it just didn't go well. It went average. Yeah. So it is always good learning so you'll be doing more of those, I presume.
Yeah, I think so. I keep trying to put myself out there. I think another thing I learned is just not trying to. I used to write down the whole speech on your little card, but now I just sometimes I'm actually better when I kind of don't prepare as such, and just write down keywords, and then you can just kind of it just flows better. So that's something I've learned as well.
I agree. I think as long as you hit your key points, how you do it within reason doesn't actually matter, because it's about getting the message across, and you're more relaxed, so you're probably going to do it better.
Yeah, that's in theory anyway.
Yeah, I think it does over time. It certainly it gets better for sure. Yeah. Any questions I haven't asked? Because I always get to the end and sort of think, oh, I don't know, did I miss anything? So, any question I didn't ask, or something that you wanted to share?
Nothing's coming up.
Okay.
I think it's covered the four areas I like to cover. I think.
Cool. Lovely jubbly. Good. All right.
Lovely jubbly.
Really good to catch up. Thanks so much for your time. It's been great catching up with you, because I haven't seen you for ages, and I missed you the last time I was in Tauranga, but I'm down in July, so I'll try and catch up when I'm down in July.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for your time, and see you soon.
Cool. Thanks, Rich.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.